seated.
Announcements.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it is with deep regret that we have learned of the demise on Thursday, 2nd of July 2023, of Dr. Rudrasen Niwu, former Member of Parliament at the age of 89. Dr. Niwu was born in Mortels-Saint-André on 18th of June 1934. After completing his secondary education at the Bujwari College, he joined the pre-medical Delhi University in India. In 1964, he obtained his MBBS from the SN Medical College in Agra. Dr. Niwu joined the civil service in 1965 as resident medical officer at the then civil hospital. He made his way up the hierarchy and was promoted in 1977 to the position of Regional Health Superintendent at the SSR National Hospital. From 1980 to 1991, Dr. Niwu held the post of consultant in occupational medicine at the Ministry of Health. During the same period, he acted as president of the Mauritius Medical Association. In September 1991, Dr. Niwu joined the MSM and, in the same year, stood as candidate for the general election under the banner of the MSM-MMM Alliance in constituency number 9, Flac Bonaccueil. He was elected as third member. In 1993, he was appointed Parliamentary Private Secretary for constituencies number 6, 10, and 18, a post which he held until 1995. In 1995, Dr. Niwu was conferred the status of honorary citizen by the Mocha Flac District Council. On 12th of March 2004, Dr. Niwu was elevated to the rank of Grand Officer of the Order of the Star and Key of the Indian Ocean for his distinguished services to the community. Dr. Niwu was a dedicated social worker and served the Arya Sabha Mauritius, the Hindu Council, and the Sangram Sewa Sadan, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I request you to kindly direct the acting clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the spouse and the 2 children of Dr. Niwu and to the close members of his family.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I associate myself fully with the tribute made by the Honourable Prime Minister to the late Dr. Niwu. He had a distinguished career in the medical profession and was also a prominent politician. He was, of course, an active member and past president of the Arya Samaj, amongst others. I also request the acting clerk to convey our condolences to his wife and children.
So you request acting clerk through the chair. Honourable members, I associate myself with the tribute paid to the memory of late Dr. Rudrasen Niwu, former Member of Parliament, by the Honourable Prime Minister and the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, and I direct the acting clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family. Honourable members, I have an announcement to make. At the sitting of Tuesday, 4th July 2023, the Honourable Minister of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation raised a point of order to the effect that the Honourable Omia uttered the words, "You are a disgusting liar," to the address of the Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness. The Honourable Deputy Speaker, who had just taken the chair, stated that he would have to check the Hansard before giving a ruling. I have now gone through the Hansard, which in fact reveals that the Honourable Omia did utter the words, "You're a disgusting liar," to the address of the Honorable Minister of Health and Wellness. I therefore invite the Honorable Omia to withdraw without any conditions these objectionable words and tender apologies to the House.
I'm sorry, I maintain what I've said.
So you have to withdraw from the House.
Questions?
Mr. Speaker, my question is addressed to the Honourable Minister of Land Transport and Light Rail. Whether in regard to the 3 fatal accidents involving the Metro Express, he will, for the benefit of the House, obtain information from the Metro Express Limited as to when fencing will be installed on both sides of the track along all residential and urban areas. 2, when train crossing barriers will be installed at level crossings. 3, the additional safety measures that have been put in place to date. And B, the National Land Transport Authority as to the action that have been taken, if any, provided for under Section 11 of the Light Rail Act 2019 as a result thereof.
Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, please allow me to convey my heartfelt and deepest sympathy to the bereaved family following the accident that occurred on the light rail track on the 7th of July 2023 at Belrose. Indeed, this is a very tragic and unfortunate accident which led to the demise of one of our citizens. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Metro Express that several audits have been undertaken prior to the launching and operationalization of each phase of the Metro Express project. To that end, the Singapore Mass Rapid Transit, which is a world-class company in terms of railway operation and safety, has carried out a rigorous independent safety audit on the Mauritian light rail system. The aim of which, Mr. Speaker, is to make sure that all security measures are already in place and embedded in the light rail transit system prior to start of commercial operations. This was done in order not to compromise with the security of passengers. Sir, I also wish to point out that the Metro Express project was developed based on international best practices and standards. In this respect, safety aspects have been catered at each stage of the project life cycle, from concept to construction and operationalization of the infrastructures. Mr. Speaker, sir, MEL has been operational since January 2020 and currently has a ridership of over 19 million passengers. The Metro Express is today spread over a stretch of nearly 30 kilometers from Cupip to Port Reitz and Rosehill to Réduit-sur-Ebene. Metro Express is now the mode of transport of choice of the population, and the rapid adoption of this means of transport by the public demonstrates the popularity and the acceptance of this public transport service facility in our country. The Metro Express Limited aims at providing a safe, innovative, and sustainable mode of mass transit system. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Metro Express project is a new and massive undertaking of prime national importance. Significant improvements have been made since the start of operations to improve service delivery and adapt to the local context. Metro Express Limited has continually engaged in stakeholder consultations and have had several interactions with the public to inter alia inform the public of safety measures and any change in operation. Sir, 3 cases of fatal accidents have been reported involving light rail vehicles as follows. First, on the 23rd of February 2020 in the region of Beaubassin-Barclay. Second, on the 6th May 2023 at Cupip North Station. And third, on the 7th of July 2023 near Belrose Metro Station. With regard to the last accident, according to preliminary information conveyed to me, the accident occurred on Friday, 7th of July 2023 at around 19:10 hours
and at a distance of some approximately 200 meters from the junction Victoria and Belrose Avenues. According to information provided to me, the victim trespassed on the metro alignment and was walking on the track in the direction towards Travaux Central Station. It would also appear that the victim was not paying due attention to the approaching light rail vehicle. I am informed, sir, that the train captain applied the maximum service brake in order to avoid the accident, but unfortunately, as the person was still on the track, the train collided with that person. Upon impact, the victim was projected on the adjacent Victoria Avenue. Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with established protocols, immediately after the accident, the police, the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Services, SAMU, and MEL staff proceeded to the locus of accident to provide assistance to the victim. Regretfully, it was found that he had already passed away. As a result of the accident, light rail services were temporarily interrupted and a bus bridging service was immediately provided in order for passengers LRV 101 not to be stranded. Mr. Speaker, sir, these accidents are indeed very unfortunate ones and act as a stark reminder that everyone should make it a point to strictly comply with all the rules which have been set for their own safety. I need to stress that it is strictly forbidden to walk along the light rail track in order not only to avoid putting at risk one's own life, but also to avoid endangering the lives of the 300 passengers conveyed in the light rail vehicle, inasmuch as that sudden and sharp braking of the train can cause injury to persons inside the train. In fact, Section 22 of the Light Rail Act 2019 stipulates that no person shall drive, park, or stop a vehicle or walk on or across a railway line unless directed to do so by a police officer or permitted to do so by the light rail operator. The law further provides that any person who contravenes same shall commit an offence and shall on conviction be liable to a fine of not less than 25,000 rupees but not exceeding 100,000 rupees and to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, Section 41 of the same Act also provides that any person who willfully does or omits to do anything in relation to any light rail as a result of which the safety of any person travelling in a light rail vehicle is endangered or is likely to be endangered shall commit an offence and shall on conviction be liable to a fine of not less than 100,000 rupees and not exceeding 500,000 rupees and to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of one of the question, I wish to inform the House that the Metro Express project is an integrated light rail infrastructure with urban environment incorporating many safety measures, such as a traffic signal priority system, the TSPS, road markings, signatures, dedicated footpaths, lighting, guardrails, bollards, fencing placed at required locations. The LRT alignment is the product of planning and engineering design that has considered various options and satisfied various criteria such as safety, risk, operational efficiency, engineering, space, affordability, and urban integration. The intent of this alignment is to maximize the opportunity and capability of LRT technology to integrate with the urban environment while ensuring the sustainability of the LRT system. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that fencing along the metro corridor at specific locations has been installed to demarcate the metro tracks. For example, along Saint-Jean Road, fencing has been installed along the middle of the rail alignment to prevent commuters from crossing the tracks. Dedicated pedestrian crossings are available at all metro stations as well as at road-rail intersections. From the stretch from Travaux Central up to Belrose along Victoria Avenue, fencing is fully provided on the right-hand side along the dedicated pedestrian footpath, allowing pedestrians to walk safely all along the metro corridor. This facility has been installed since the beginning of the operations of the Metro Express as from the 20th June 2021 in Travaux, and the residents and pedestrians are well accustomed to using this safe footpath, which is also fully lit at night. On the left-hand side, the metro corridor is located along Victoria Avenue, and guardrails, handrails have been placed at specific locations to protect from any potential upcoming of vehicles from lateral roads onto the metro corridor. Sir, I am also informed that the existing footpaths have been upgraded, as well as modern lightings have been installed, which have enhanced the overall pedestrian network and provided a safe and appealing environment for the pedestrians when commuting along Saint-Jean Road. The whole urban feel of Quatre-Bornes, especially along Saint-Jean Road, has been revamped and upgraded, similar to what we have in European cities, creating a modern feel in the town center of Quatre-Bornes. For each section of the project, including the metro alignment, a road safety audit was carried out, reviewed by TRMSU and complied with the contractor. All prescribed safety measures pertaining to the metro corridor have been duly implemented with installation of pedestrian fencing where recommended. Mr. Speaker, sir, safety is paramount, and MEL's internal policy is to foster a proactive safety culture through collaborative process, engagement, and continuous improvement. Safety management is an ongoing process. MEL is constantly conducting regular audits and assessment together with the relevant authorities such as the TMRSU, the police, and my ministry to coordinate actions, and during which additional potential safety improvement measures can be proposed wherever found appropriate and useful, depending on the site conditions and potential evolution in usage. This constant improvement process has already resulted in the implementation of several additional measures at different locations along the corridor since the start of the project. MEL will pursue its effort to ensure that we continue to achieve the highest level of safety for its passengers and personnel. Sir, the LRT alignment is a product of planning and engineering design that has considered various options and satisfied various criteria such as safety, risk, operational efficiency, engineering space, affordability, and urban integration. The intent of this alignment is to maximize the opportunity and capability of LRT technology to integrate with the urban environment while ensuring the sustainability of the LRT system. Detailed analysis has determined that the introduction of level crossing were deemed to be necessary in line with the principle of LRT efficient and safe operations with a view to better integrate with other modes of transport. The safety aspects of level crossings are to be managed through effective European standards, traffic signalized system design, safety management procedures, along with progressive sensitization exercise and strict enforcement of rules. The traffic signaling is designed based on the traffic signaling priority system, giving priority to the train movement. The design of the level crossing considers two key aspects: safety and capacity of the traffic. The design of the level crossings has incorporated various design inputs which require early involvement, effective cooperation and communication of all stakeholders, TMRSU, the police, the RDA, the local authorities, to identify safety hazards and related risks. These hazards and risks are then analyzed to allow mitigation via engineering control. The hazards and risk mitigation process has been iterated through the whole life of the project: concept stage, design stage, project execution, implementation stage, post-implementation stage, to ensure that the safety of the system across the asset life cycle is properly monitored and managed. Taking the above into consideration, sir, the engineering requirements for traffic and safety is part of the project implementation. The road engineering geometric design was done according to international standards and to the local requirements of the Road Development Authority and the TMI.
At which point, I have very specific questions. We're already noon. At which point does he intend to reply to my questions? At which point? Because all these blah, 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 people have died, all you're telling me is blah, blah, blah. At which point will you tell me when crossings will be installed, if they will, when the additional safety measures, what time, when are you going to answer that?
I am laying the groundwork for the particular answers, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Honourable Leader of Opposition should be patient. He has asked a question which, as he himself said, concerns the lives of people, so be patient. I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure Mr. Speaker will give you some more time.
Now it's sufficient. Please.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, sir, the contractor L&T, as part of the contract, ensured that the road safety audit was conducted to the full extent of the works by an independent qualified road safety audited term as part of the preliminary design and detailed design, and also in advance of opening any part of the works to traffic. The corrective actions highlighted in the road safety audit report have also been implemented before operation, such as improvement of signatures, channeling of pedestrians, installation of speed breakers, and additional warning signs. Mr. Speaker, sir, based on their assessment and observations, the independent safety audit team recommended that the system is safe for normal operations and revenue passenger service. Since last year, many meetings have been held specifically on stakeholder meeting, safety and security along Metro Express railway corridor, where sensitization on safety at intersections are discussed and agreed collaboratively with the RMSU, police, and stakeholder concerned. Metro Express Limited, Mr. Speaker, sir, has started also its education, sensitization, and awareness campaign since early 2019 through radio, TV, print, and digital media. 50,000 leaflets, posters have been distributed to road users. Multiple videos have been realized with the help of MBC and the Metro News items. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is to be noted also that at all junctions, LRVs run at reduced speed at less than 20 km per hour, and the train captains strictly follow established safety protocols. Such was the case before the accident took place. And MEL ensures that all train captains undergo intensive theoretical and practical training as devised by the SMRT Singapore before being licensed by the NLT. Furthermore, regular refresher programs are provided by MEL training departments to the train captains. I need to point out, Mr. Speaker, sir, that in other jurisdictions, such as Spain, Australia, Prague, amongst others, the light rail system is open and there are no barriers. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to part A2 of the question, I am informed that there are multiple levels of warning signs at approaches of a level crossing, such as application of bell and horns by the train captains to warn the incoming traffic and pedestrians. There are signs including level crossing ahead, traffic signal warnings, and on-spot signs at the level crossing. Moreover, there are CCTV cameras connected to the OCC, which monitors the traffic at road rail crossings. MEL works collaboratively with the police and other concerned authorities to manage and ensure safety at intersections, especially during peak hours, and ensure permanent presence at major road rail level crossing. Mr. Speaker, sir, light rail systems are designed to integrate with other modes of transport. Adaptability to the new road rail configuration and discipline of road users are key to the efficient integration between the light rail and the other road users. I wish to inform the House that an assessment has been carried out by respective authorities and MEL with regard to additional safety measures to be implemented at the junctions, including the installation of barriers. MEL held a multi-stakeholder workshop on the matter, and all the stakeholders, including technicians, experts, and other professionals, recommended that additional measures could be implemented. All stakeholders viewed that the preferred option of geometric improvements, such as combination of raised curb, improved road markings, extension of yellow boxes, removal of pedestrian crossing, together with the introduction of flashing red light warning signals, was found to be the most optimal solution in order to mitigate the safety risk identified thereof. The installation of train crossing barriers in the context of our local light rail system, whose safety measures I have abundantly elaborated, has been the subject of extensive consultations, brainstorming and discussions among relevant stakeholders and authorities. And these consultations have led to a consensus not to implement the barriers at the road rail intersection. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to part A3, I am informed by the Metro Express Limited that with a view to reinforcing safety practices, the Metro Express Limited is continuously conducting regular audits and assessment together with the relevant authorities such as the TMRSU, NLTA, RDA, local authorities, the police and my ministry. A collaborative approach is being favored to tackle light rail safety and to coordinate actions for the purpose of identifying and implementing safety improvement measures wherever found appropriate and useful, depending on the site conditions and potential evolution in usage. With a view to instilling safe practices among the population, especially following the introduction of the light rail transit system, my ministry, with relevant stakeholders, namely the Metro Express Limited, has been regularly carrying out intensive communication and sensitization campaigns thereon. The aim is for the public to be more cautious as to their safety, especially around the railway corridor, the level crossings and for them not to venture near the railway tracks. To that end, the TMRSU, in collaboration with MEL, conducted a targeted and well-articulated sensitization campaign on the precautions to be adopted at level crossings. Media, such as the National Broadcasting Channel and radios, billboards, were relied upon. We also favored social media, such as Google Ads, YouTube, and Facebook, were used extensively for wide dissemination. The TMRSU has carried out various repeater campaigns on road safety, including that of LRV level crossing. Mr. Speaker, sir, communication and sensitization campaigns are also ongoing at the level of the Metro Express. The general public is continuously being informed on the metro alignment, its traffic sign, interface with the police, with the road, traffic regulations, and so on. Furthermore, with regard to physical safety measures, all road-rail intersections are equipped with signalized pedestrian crossing. Additional independent signalized pedestrian crossings are also provided at specific locations between the junctions, depending on the distance between the two junctions and the overall urban configuration. Sir, my ministry, in consultation with MEL, is implementing additional safety measures, including reviewing the setup of pedestrian bays at station, fencing, other measures also being studied, such as installation of flashing lights and system of red light cameras at pedestrian crossings and stations. With regard to part B of the question, I need to inform the House that a draft code of practice has been worked out by the Light Rail Division of the NLTA in order to, inter alia, provide for the operation and maintenance of the light rail, security and safety of persons who use or engage in any work in relation to the light rail, bus bridging services for conveyance of passengers during disruption in service. Several meetings have been held at the level of my ministry to finalize the code of practice, and once same is finalized, arrangements will be made to have it vetted by the AG's office. Mr. Speaker, sir, the code of practice aims at reinforcing the security aspect of light rails. Section 11 of the Light Rail Act provides for the NLTA to order defects to be remedied. This section may be triggered only if NLTA has valid reason to believe that the condition of any part of the light rail transit system or the manner in which it is being operated is likely to cause a risk or injury to a person. The Light Rail Division is regularly interacting with Metro Express Limited in terms of performance meetings so as to assess the level of operation and safety aspects. In this connection, my ministry has engaged in consultation with MEL on several aspects of the light rail system in terms of permanent way, viaducts and power station. Mr. Speaker, sir, in addition to the above, draft regulations have been worked out by the NLTA in order to cater for the operation of the light rail, including enhancing the safety aspects to amend existing provisions. Consultations are ongoing in order to finalize regulations, and arrangements will be made for the promulgation thereof in due course. Sir, my ministry and the government remain committed to reducing casualties and to make our transport system safer. However, this would be achieved only with the cooperation of all stakeholders. I wish to conclude to make an earnest appeal once again for all road and rail users as well as the public to exercise more caution and to strictly abide to safety signs and instructions given by the police so that their safety is not compromised. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Minister has taken 22 minutes out of respect for the freed person dead, 2 in the last 2 months. I hope you will give additional time, and I hope that the Minister will address the questions precisely. It's a question of respect for people who have died. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask him firstly, to remind him firstly, that the road safety audit that he promised in 2020 to be tabled in this House has still not been tabled. Now, concerning the, and perhaps you can tell us why, concerning the fencing where the accident happened on Friday. This is in my constituency along Victoria Road. There is fencing on one side of the road only, not on the other side. To say it is fully fenced is a misnomer. So you said fully fenced on one side, but you used the word fully.
On one side.
Fully is not...
Fully on one side.
Fully on one side, none on the other side. So will the Minister commit today, now, to ask Metro Express to fence the other side now? The other side, not only in Victoria Street, but everywhere in residential and urban areas. Surely that will cost you peanuts and it will save lives.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I said also that
May I table, Mr. Speaker? Yeah, go on.
that the fencing has been fully placed on the right. Let me finish, please. Don't be stressed. Fully on the right side of the road when going towards Belrose. I said also, if you listen to me, on the left side of the road, there are handrails and guardrails. Let me finish.
Let the minister
to prevent traffic from coming on the track. But, Mr. Speaker, fencing has been installed where safety audits have recommended. Same. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition must know that we are ministers, we are politicians, we go by what our experts, what our technicians tell us. Now, as I said, fencing has been installed where safety audits have recommended same, and after consultation with all relevant stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, I just expanded abundantly on all the safety aspects over and above fencing and train crossing structures. We have placed fencing, for example, at Vakwa, fencing has been placed, at certain locations fencing has been placed, but this has been done as a result of the advice that we have received from the relevant stakeholders and technicians.
And he has not published the road safety audit. He received advice some years ago. Now, a few days ago, a person has died, walking on the track. It seems simple enough to understand that you need to put fencing to stop people walking on the track. What is the problem with Metro Express and yourself understanding that there is no fencing, no handrail, nothing, okay, except on the La Gare même, but apart from that, there's no fencing, no handrail, nothing. And what is difficult to understanding that you need fencing? What is difficult?
Wait.
The cause of this accident, as I said, was that this gentleman, the deceased, was walking on the road at one time, and where he was not supposed to, and then he switched over to the truck, and he was walking on the truck, and the train came and collided with him frontally, and there is another footpath on the other side of the road when going towards Belrose, which all pedestrians use normally, and I must inform the Honourable Leader of the Opposition that the safety audit conducted by the TMRSU recommended on one side only at Victoria Avenue. And
you wait.
The RSA...
Don't start the game again.
Please. The road safety also conducted has assessed the infrastructure as being safe. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, this question of fencing, as I said, should we put fencing on, if we go by the logic of the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, therefore, we should put fencing on all the roads in this country, on the motorway, because people walk along the motorway, isn't it? So we should go by your logic, and all the motorways in this country should be fenced. Is that what is your logic? We go by the advice of our experts.
Because it is a shame that the Honourable Minister doesn't understand the danger with light rail. It is more dangerous on the train, it is more dangerous on the underground because it interacts. Well, just interacts with people. And secondly, the light rail takes much longer than a car to stop. This is why you need additional safety measures, because it takes much longer. Do you know that, are you aware? Are you aware?
Leader of the Opposition,
what
I
is the
am on
matter?
my feet.
You are, yes.
You listen to me.
Yes.
And you follow my guidance.
No, what can you do?
Put direct questions.
Are you aware? Is that a direct question? Can you ask him to answer directly also? Is it possible for you to ask him to answer directly?
Don't you worry.
Or just myself a question?
I have control over the questions. Okay. I don't have control over the replies.
Okay.
You've been a deputy.
Well, try to exercise some control.
You know better than me.
Try to exercise some control on yourself. Now.
No. You withdraw that remark.
Okay, I withdraw it. Okay. Now, given that it is so dangerous, the light railway, this is why additional measures need to be taken. Is the minister aware that in the accident that happened a few days ago, you said so yourself, the emergency brake was not applied by the train driver. It is his service brake that was applied. The question is this. Given that it takes so long to brake, and given that the emergency brake cannot be applied because of the danger to passengers inside the cab, That is why, if you think about it, you need additional measures more than on a road.
No. I mean, the Honourable Minister, the Honourable Member, Leader of the Opposition is distorting what I said. Maximum brake was applied in this case. Well, you say no. We have the information, we have the footage.
Honourable Minister, Honourable Minister, I'm talking to you. Address the chair.
Yes, okay.
Don't address the Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, no, but I'm addressing you to tell you that the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is misleading the House. Maximum brake was applied in this case, Mr. Speaker, sir, and through you I'm informing the Leader of the Opposition that his information is wrong, because we have all the information here, and what I'm telling the House is complete truth. I'm not misleading the House. So maximum brake was applied in this case. But in this case also, Mr. Speaker, sir, there is a footpath on the right side of the road going towards Travaux. There's a footpath. But the deceased party, in fact, had no right to walk along Victoria Avenue on the left side of the road when facing Travaux. He should have been using the pavement on the other side of the road.
Honourable Minister mentioned that there will be fines. Are you planning to fine the dead also? There will be fines. These people died. Now I'm going to ask Honourable Minister about, unless that is what you are planning to do.
Please.
Now, because they disobeyed your instructions. Now, I'm going to ask Honourable Minister concerning the accident in Kirpip. 2 months ago, 2 months ago, there was an accident in Kirpip. Now, the train is supposed to arrive at the station at 15 kilometers per hour. Now, it's almost running speed of a man, a bit more. How is it that if really the train was approaching the station at 15 kilometers per hour, that the driver actually overran a lady and killed the lady? Isn't there a case here that the train was speeding into the station?
Firstly, Mr. Speaker, sir, this matter is being inquired into by the police. I think it will be very dangerous for all the parties concerned for us to debate the causes of the accident in this House by way of a parliamentary question. But what I can say in this case also, the train captain, firstly, reaching a station, the maximum limit should be 20 kilometers per hour. The train captain rang the alarm bell and also applied the brakes. But unfortunately, the accident took place because this lady was crossing again over the track, Mr. Speaker. So I can't say more. Let the police inquire. There will be an inquiry because there's a death of somebody. A magistrate will surely hold a judicial inquiry, Mr. Speaker, sir, after the DPP would have referred the matter to the magistrate. So let us wait. But what I can inform the House, as far as I'm concerned, the train was going at an authorized speed, at the safe speed, and the lady, unfortunately, entered the corridor abruptly and not paying attention. Unfortunately, all the members of this House, including you, Mr. Speaker, sir, can't see the footage. But if one looks at the footage, you will see how the lady, in fact, abruptly crossed over the track in front of the light rail, in front of the metro, which had already adopted the speed of 20 kilometers. So the bell was rung 3 times, and the train captain, I can assure the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, followed all safety driving practices. And I find it, Mr. Speaker, sir, a bit hard. You know, these train captains, they were alcohol tested. They had applied brakes, rang the alarm bell, did everything what they should have done. And then you know what happened? They have to go and be released on bail.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Minister, given that the project was reduced from the 25 billion in the Labour PMSD to 19 billion rupees, and of course the money was then wasted on Côte d'Or, on Betamax, and on BAI. Now, isn't it a fact that the reduction, isn't it a fact?
Order.
Can you hear any interruptions?
I said order.
Good. Now.
Put your question.
Order. Now, isn't it a fact that in giving a specific budget to the contractors, a number of safety fixtures were actually done away with? Mm-hmm. In particular, elevated sections, in particular fencing. Now, this is why I'm going to ask the Minister again. Obviously, elevated section will be too late. But there are things that you can do. There are things, fencing, sensors in the cabs, sensors on the rails, many things that can be done to stop further accidents, including in Vacqua, in Kerpip, in Quatre-Bornes, in Beaubassin. There have been 3 fatal accidents and 10 other accidents involving the truck.
Leader of the opposition, I'm waiting for your question.
No need, it's already
asked. I'm
asked.
not waiting for a statement or debate.
I have asked a question.
Okay. If you want to come to all the 3 accidents, I just told you the 2 last ones, the deceased was in fact on trespassing on the truck. The first case, Mr. Speaker, sir, we remember, it was in August 2020, this man, the motorcyclist, had in fact gone through the red lights, and there were police officers near the traffic signs. And this is why an inquiry has been conducted, and there has been no case. The hearing was heard. You know that. All the people, we remember in what circumstances this first accident took place. Now, have we not done what should have been done, Mr. Speaker, sir? What the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is trying to say, to impute to us, is that we have sacrificed on safety? Not at all, Mr. Speaker, sir. The project which was being proposed by the Labour Party would have cost 37 billion rupees, whereas this one cost us only 18 billion rupees. We have not sacrificed on safety at all. I have abundantly elaborated on all the measures that have been taken, are still being taken, and it is a recurrent feature, Mr. Speaker, sir, reviewing safety measures. I don't have to go more on this aspect. I think Mel and all the other stakeholders, we are doing everything that should have been done in terms of safety to protect our citizens, Mr. Speaker.
The difference is 5 billion rupees when you compare like with like. Don't do any voodoo accounting here, Minister. I'm going to ask the Minister this. He is responsible for the National Land Transport Authority. The light rail, we all know, is something new to Mauritius. Nobody understands it. Neither the police, nor yourself, nor anyone. So where is the famous light rail commissioner that was going to be appointed? It's now 3 years gone. We have a draft code of practice. We have draft regulations, not enforced yet, and no light rail commissioner.
With regard to the light rail commissioner, Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry has done whatever had to be done in order to recruit this light rail commissioner, because the understanding was that the light rail commissioner should have been recruited from India. Exercises were carried out for many months and even years, Mr. Speaker, sir. Then a light rail commissioner was chosen, and at the last minute he shied away, and because he was not agreeable on the salary that was being proposed to him. But we have an Indian deputy light rail commissioner who is now in Mauritius, Mr. Speaker, sir, who has been appointed. So again, Mr. Speaker, sir, I repeat what I said. We are in consultation with Metro, my ministry, with NLTA. We keep on reviewing the setup of the level of safety that is required. It's a recurrent feature, Mr. Speaker, sir. Additional safety measures are being implemented and will be implemented because it is a constant priority for government and for the ministry.
Minister, this question. Another point of safety is the fluidity of traffic. A few days ago, on Friday itself, in Quatre-Bornes, traffic was completely at a standstill, including for the emergency services, for 3 hours, because a water tanker broke down on Saint-Jean Road. Now, how is he going to address this issue?
Mr. Speaker, sir, although this is not part of the substantive question, I will answer it. As I said, Mr. Speaker, this issue was raised before, in fact, the light rail became operational in Quatre-Bornes. The necessary measures have been taken in case a vehicle has a breakdown on the road, and we know it's only a one-way strip, and the TMRSU and MEL and also my ministry, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have already reflected on situations where a car might be breaking down and that will cause, of course, a lot of traffic congestion.
One last question, if I may. Drivers, your drivers, what Mauritian drivers now? Drivers are complaining of the inadequate lighting. The accident in Travaux happened at night. Now it seems quite simple to install proper lighting all around residential and urban areas. Why are your drivers still today complaining about inadequate lighting on the track?
Mr. Speaker, sir, but in this particular locality, I just said we were satisfied. I don't want to repeat what I said, Mr. Speaker, sir. All the stakeholders, including the municipality, TMRSU, MEL, the ministry, we were satisfied that this area, which was formerly, as we know, a jogging area, and all the amenities, all the infrastructure that we've placed at this area, we were satisfied that it was properly lit, Mr. Speaker. So as I said just now, that we made an audit and we were satisfied that the area where this accident took place, Mr. Speaker, sir, all the necessary precautionary measures have taken place. A footpath on the right-hand side, near the houses, near the residence, a footpath on the left-hand side. In fact, jogging, as the honourable member should know, because he's MP for this area, Mr. Speaker, sir, many inhabitants use this footpath as a jogging track. It is well lit. And according to us, Mr. Speaker, sir, had this poor man not trespassed on this light rail track, no accident would have taken place.
That's the end. So now we move to Prime Minister's question time. Honourable Deno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B988. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Mauritius Police Force plays a multifaceted role in our society and has been at the forefront in fostering a climate of peace and security conducive to the country's socio-economic development. In fact, the police, as guardian of law and order, have at all times ensured the safety of the population, the social stability and harmony in the country. As a law enforcement body, the Mauritius Police Force effectively maintains public order and safety and detects, prevents, and investigates into criminal activities. As per Section 9(1) of the Police Act 1974, the main responsibilities of the police are to, and I quote, preserving the public peace, preventing and detecting offences, apprehending persons who have committed or who are reasonably suspected of having committed offences, regulating processions and gatherings on public roads and in public places or places of public resort, regulating traffic and preventing or removing obstructions from public roads, preserving order in public places and places of public resort, at public gatherings and assemblies for public amusement, assisting in implementing health, quarantine, customs and excise laws, assisting in preserving order in ports, harbours and airports, executing process issued by court, and swearing information and conducting prosecutions, unquote. Besides these policing duties, the Mauritius Police Force has been instrumental in the protection and welfare of the public at large, as well as the most vulnerable, including our senior citizens and our children. In addition, these policing functions also encompass disaster management and search and rescue operations, amongst others. Policing being by its very nature dynamic and complex, particularly in an ever-changing environment, is also confronted to a myriad of challenges associated with increased public expectations and exigencies, demands for enhanced accountability, the sophistication of crimes, and the emergence of new threats emanating from an ever-changing community life. We all recall that in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the public provided an immediate response, the police provided an immediate response, especially in our overall national resilience strategy to cope with an unprecedented situation, often putting their own lives at risk. Their response was proactive, immediate, and effective at all levels. They played a prominent role in ensuring orderly movement of people to get access to basic necessities, transportation of COVID-19 patients to hospitals, securing quarantine centers, and issuance of access passes to people in order to keep the essential services running during the curfew periods. Additionally, they assisted in delivering food to the most vulnerable citizens. Mr. Speaker, sir, apart from their normal policing duties, they have also partnered with the community to help in alleviating the difficulties of the population during those improving times. They have been instrumental at implementing the recommendations of the COVID-19 High-Level Committee insofar as to matters relating to law, order, and security. We have to pay tribute to the 5 police officers who have unfortunately lost their lives due to the pandemic during their selfless service to the nation. With technological advancement, sophisticated communication devices, and rapid and easy transportation, new types of crimes are emerging as well as criminal networking. For instance, today, drugs are sourced in one continent, processed and trafficked across another one, and marketed in a third one. As a response to such evolving situation, the police has to regularly revisit its strategies and capabilities in terms of equipment modernization, coupled with continuous training, capacity building, human resource development, skill and competence enhancement. Mr. Speaker, sir, police officers have to face numerous and daunting challenges in fulfilling their mission to, amongst others, countering the illegal activities and arresting the drug traffickers and other criminals. Conversely, they are also subject to deliberate acts of violence and malicious accusations whilst attempting to restore public order or arresting suspected criminals. They are constantly in danger during search and rescue missions and also being run over by careless motorists and when quelling disorders, amongst others. The relentless fight against drug traffickers is not limited to police action inland, but also covers the maritime environment, which by its very nature is prone to risk and hazards. This fight, which primarily rests on prompt action by the police, particularly the ADSU, has inherent risks endangering lives of not only the police officers, but that of their families who are often subject to threats. Police officers often put their life at risk in order to protect the citizens, and a number of them have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. There have indeed been instances where they have become casualties or even lost their lives in the performance of their duties. As such, with regard to Part A of the question, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that since 2015 to date, 5 police officers have unfortunately lost their lives whilst on duty as follows. 1. In 2015, whilst on patrol, Police Sergeant R.G. was run down along the motorway at Pai. He lost his life in the accident. 2. In 2018, Police Constable L.S.J.A. lost his life in a fatal road accident whilst on duty. 3. In November 2020, late woman police officer D.R. lost her life during a covert operation at Bouvalon Mall, Mayberg, while attempting to stop a car that was suspected to be involved in drug transactions. 4. In the year 2020, late police constable H.N. posted at the National Coast Guard, who was on a float patrol on board NCG boat at St. James Port, Agalega, lost his life when the boat capsized. And 5. In the year 2021, late woman police constable R.G. met with a fatal road accident whilst returning home after her tour of duty. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to Part B of the question, I am further informed by the Commissioner of Police that for the same period, 69 police officers have been seriously injured whilst on duty. The injuries sustained by the police officers are inter alia due to 1. Road accidents, 2. Assault of police officers whilst performing duty, 3. Gunshot, and 4. Whilst regulating unlawful assemblies. Mr. Speaker, sir, as stated in the Police Act, every police officer is deemed to be on duty when required to act as such, whether or not he is wearing the prescribed uniform, and has to perform the duties and exercise the powers conferred on him while he is on duty. In fact, police officers are often called upon to operate in situations which take a toll on their morale and their well-being. But despite these hardships, they continue to perform their duties diligently. Mr. Speaker, sir, all too often it has been observed that the police is subject to unfair criticism rather than being valued for the good work performed by them. More recently, there have been allegations of drug planting against some police officers in an attempt to discredit the police force. Fortunately, law-abiding citizens often praise the police for their work, and I'm convinced they will stand united to prevent some ill-minded people from spreading anarchy in our country. However, let me reassure the House and the population at large that my government has continuously been providing all the necessary support to the police to ensure that police officers are equipped and trained with the required resources and facilities to perform their duties safely and securely. The more so, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that the Mauritius Police Force is implementing its Police Strategic Plan 2022-2025, which has a strong component on the enhancement of the morale and motivation of police officers. The plan gives prominence to the improvement of the working environment, morale, welfare, and wellness of police officers. Mr. Speaker, sir, I seize this opportunity to once again extend my full support to all those police officers who are doing their work as per established rules and in compliance with the laws of the land. I salute all those police officers who have either lost their lives or sustained injuries whilst on duty. They are unsung heroes and we need to pay tribute to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. With your permission, let me join the Prime Minister to thank all the police officers for the good work they are doing. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House as to the number of police officers who has been attacked, injured or died during drug raids since 2015 to date?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I am informed that since 2015 to date, 23 ADSU officers were injured and one lost her life. We all know the late WPCR during raids and other operations carried out in connection with drug cases.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Prime Minister state the amount of compensation paid or is due to the heirs of those police officers who lost their lives in the exercises of their duty since 2015?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I am informed that compensation is paid to the heirs of such deceased officers as per the recommendation of the PRB report. In 4 of the 5 cases I mentioned in my reply, compensation to the tune of 6.1 million rupees have been paid.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House as to the status of the inquiry in the case of late women police officer Dimple Raghu, who lost her life during a covert operation of ADSU at Bovalo Mall in November 2022?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the case file regarding late woman police officer Dimple Raghu has been sent to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution on 31st of May 2023 for advice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. In his reply, the Honourable Prime Minister stated that the Mauritius Police Force is being provided with necessary resources in terms of personnel and equipment to fulfill its mission. Can he provide information on the evolution with regard to the budget allocated to the police force over the years?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the budget allocated to the Mauritius Police Force has increased from 8.73 billion rupees in financial year 2014 to reach 11.8 billion rupees in financial year 2023-2024. In fact, the amount that has been allocated to ADSU has increased from 198.2 million rupees in financial year 2014 to reach 329.2 million rupees in financial year 2023-2024.
Roy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I have a very specific question with a specific date. I don't know if the Honourable Prime Minister has the answer. It's with regard to the night of the 22nd of April 2022. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House as to the number of police officers who were injured on that specific evening on the 22nd of April 2022, where there were some politically instigated riots across at different places, where there was one also in front of the police headquarters of Port Louis. If ever the Prime Minister has the information, could he please provide the information to the House? Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I am informed that during the riots mentioned... Can you have respect for the dead, please? Ils doivent avoir un peu de respect pour ceux qui ont, en cours de leur travail, ont perdu leur vie.
Bad manner. Please continue. Members of Parliament are paid, and so they should do their duty properly, not interrupt people from talk. Please continue.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that during the riots mentioned by the Honourable Member, 21 police officers were injured, including 3 police officers who were seriously injured. Moreover, there are 28 vehicles and 34 safe city cameras, and 2 police buildings were damaged.
Honourable Danu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Prime Minister state whether there is any process that is followed in case a police officer sustains an injury whilst on duty?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that in all cases of injury sustained by police officers in the exercise of their duties, the concerned divisional commander and the branch officer convenes as early as possible a departmental board to be chaired by an officer not below the rank of inspector. The departmental board is called upon to record the exact circumstances of the accident, to obtain statements from the injured person and witnesses, to express an opinion as to whether the accident occurred while the officer was on duty and the accident was due to the fault of the officer. I am also informed that following the report of the departmental board, 8 duly filled copies of Police Form 8, together with the statements of the injured officer and witnesses, and copies of medical certificates are submitted to the Chief Police Medical Officer for the necessary follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. As rightly pointed out by the Honourable Prime Minister, those police officers, they face real risk of injuries given the nature of their work. In 2021, the PRB has recommended for the setting up of a risk insurance scheme for police officers. May I know from the Honourable Prime Minister where matters stands with regard to the setting up of that scheme?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I know that I have given instructions for my officers to look into the matter. That issue is being investigated. Of course, it is a complex one because we are talking about only one category of officers in the service. So I can assure the Honourable Member that this matter is being looked into, and I hope that we will be able to come to a proposal ultimately.
Next question.
B988.
(989), you mean?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I will reply to both parliamentary questions B989 and B1001 together as they relate to the same subject. The Mauritius National Identity Card Scheme was introduced and implemented in Mauritius in 2013 under a government-to-government agreement between the Republic of Singapore and the Republic of Mauritius. The project was entrusted to a consortium comprising the Singapore Corporation Enterprise, Nippon Electric Company, and Crimson Logic Private Limited, at a total cost of Singapore dollars 44,326,139. That is approximately 1.1 billion rupees. The scheme comprises the following components: Central Population Database, Certification Authority, Mauritius National Identity Card system, and shared infrastructure. Following implementation of the scheme, the plastic laminated ID card was replaced by the current national identity card. Mr. Speaker, sir, in March 2020, government decided to revamp the existing Mauritius National Identity Card system following advice received from the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation to the effect that after almost 8 years of operation, the existing hardware and software of the whole system have reached their end of support and end of life in view of the following. 1. The hardware of the system is no longer supported by the vendor, and spare parts and security patches are no longer available. 2. The software components also need to be replaced as they are no longer supported by the respective vendors. 3. Moreover, the manufacturer of the current blank cards, IDEMIA, has ceased to manufacture the current card version. The updated version of the card proposed by IDEMIA is not compatible with the current MNIC system. And 4, it was viewed that emerging technologies had to be adopted to enhance the system and make it more secure, user-friendly, and to provide a wider range of features and services. Mr. Speaker, sir, following several meetings that my office had with the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, consensus was reached that the revamping of the present MNIC system was unavoidable so as to eliminate the risks associated with the obsolescence of the current system. It was also decided to take this opportunity to have a state-of-the-art system which would provide a wider spectrum of customized services so as to be in line with international trends. Hence, in February 2021, government agreed to the revamping of the Mauritius National Identity Card system over a period of 2 years. Government has also agreed to the setting up of a technical committee chaired by the Secretary for Home Affairs and a steering committee chaired by the Minister of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation to follow up on the timely implementation of the project. In September 2021, following recommendations of the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, it was decided to widen the scope and use of the new National Identity Card by including 4 new components, namely card reading, storage of digital certificates, digital ID, and mobile ID. The estimated cost of the project was 267 million rupees. Subsequently, on 24th September 2021, an invitation for expression of interest was launched through open international advertisement so as to shortlist potential bidders having the technical and financial capacity to implement the project. By the closing date of 25th October 2021, 16 applications were received and a bid evaluation committee was set up comprising representatives of my office, the Civil Status Division, the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, represented by the Central Informatics Bureau and the IT Security Unit, and the Forensic Science Laboratory to evaluate the proposals. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that following the evaluation exercise, out of the 16 applications, 2 of them were found to be technically responsive by the Bid Evaluation Committee, namely that from IDEMIA/N Vision IT Consortium and Thales Group. Subsequently, following consultations held with the Attorney General's Office and the Procurement Policy Office, and taking into consideration several factors, such as the time constraint for the completion of the project, the security of the system, and the confidentiality of the information being processed, my office was advised to proceed under Section 3(1)(a) of the Public Procurement Act and to invite the 2 companies to submit their proposal for the implementation of the project. The tender document provided, amongst others, for the following: revamping of the existing MNIC system implemented in 2013 and related infrastructure, including software, hardware, and network, amongst others, at all MNIC sites such as at data center, personalization center, and registration and issuance centers. Implementation of card usage of the national identity card so that agencies can electronically read card data for efficiency gains. Leverage on the physical ID card for the massive take-up of MOPAS, the Mauritian Digital ID. Provide for a smart mobile ID app to further reinforce the identity ecosystem of Mauritius by building a trusted chain of identity. On 11th of April 2022, IDEMIA/N Vision IT Consortium and Thales Group were invited to submit their proposals for the procurement of a turnkey solution for the supply, implementation, operations, and maintenance of a national smart card-based identity system and a smart app-based mobile ID solution. By the closing date of 30th of June 2022, IDEMIA/N Vision IT Consortium and Consortium Thales RL Malak Technologies Limited submitted their proposals. It is to be noted that one of the requirements was for the international company to have a local partner. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am further informed that following the evaluation exercise, the contract was awarded to the consortium Thales RL Malak Technologies Limited at a capital cost of USD $8,175.53. That is approximately 374 million rupees, inclusive of value-added tax. This amount caters for the implementation of the system and its related hardware and software, a first batch of 200,000 blank cards, the mobile app, card reading solution, amongst others. Maintenance of hardware and software will start after the 1-year warranty period, and provision for funds in this respect will be made in the budget on a yearly basis. I wish to inform the House that there will be no mass conversion of cards, and the existing national identity card will coexist with the new one. As regards the implementation of the project, I wish to inform the House that same has already started and is expected to be completed at latest by February 2024. To ensure the timely completion of the project, the steering committee and the technical committee are following closely the progress made at each stage of the project. To this effect, the technical committee has set up 5 subcommittees, namely the legal and policy, the human resource and logistics, and the marketing subcommittees under the responsibility of the Prime Minister's Office, the application and card usage subcommittee under the responsibility of the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, and the infrastructure subcommittee under the responsibility of the Central Informatics Bureau. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to new features, since the implementation of the Mauritius National Identity Card Scheme in 2013, the identity card has been used for identity purposes only, while other countries like Estonia, Belgium, and Germany have included in their ID system other applications like card reading, digital signature, storage of digital certificate, amongst others. Hence, our new MNIC system will allow alignment with international trends and will provide the following new features. 1. Storage of digital certificates in the chip of the national identity card, which will enable the card holder to digitally sign electronic documents and to prove his or her identity online. 2. Card reading, which will allow agencies to electronically read the national identity card. It will be possible for agencies like the Passport and Immigration Office, banks, Mauritius Post, to use 2D barcode scanners or card readers to read civil data stored in the barcode and the chip of the card. This will be a major gain in operational efficiency and productivity for all agencies reading the card. 3. Provision will be made to provide all citizens applying for an ID card with a MOPAS account, which is a digital identity issued by government, which can be used by the citizen for online transactions. 4. Provision of mobile ID, which is a mobile app that will allow citizens to use their mobile device as a form of secure electronic ID. In view of the prevalence of smart devices in Mauritius, citizens will be able to use their mobile ID in lieu of their physical ID as a proof of identity. And 5, inclusion of a digital wallet, which is a secure storage for digital documents on a mobile device. In this respect, the wallet will contain a digital version of the ID card, that is the mobile ID, which will also be used as identity proof. The relevant legislation is being amended accordingly for that purpose. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to additional security features that would be included in the new card, I am informed that the photograph on the card will be a color one, unlike the present grayscale one. A translucent window, embosses, and other features which can be read under UV light only. Mr. Speaker, sir, amendments are being brought to the National Identity Card Act through the Finance Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2023 to provide for the setting up of a national identity card unit which will ensure the implementation of adequate security measures for all aspects of and related to the MNIC system, keep under periodic review the organizational and security measures implemented in relation to all aspects of and related to the MNIC system, cause independent security audits of the MNIC system to be carried out by an independent body, implement the recommendations made by the independent body having carried out the independent security audit of the MNIC system, and have such functions and powers for the administrative and functional efficiency of the organizational framework relating to the MNIC system. As regards possible future upgrading, I am informed that the digital wallet will be able to accommodate other digital documents such as birth certificate and marriage certificate. Discussions are ongoing between my office, the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, and other stakeholders to explore the possibility of storing other documents in the digital wallet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. It is clear, according to the reply given by the Honourable Prime Minister, can the Honourable Prime Minister state the reason for that increase? Because initially, in 2022-23, it was announced that the project was 230 million. That was earmarked. Can we know why that increase?
Well, in fact, the capital cost of revamping the MNIC has been reviewed. Let me give details so that the Honourable Member will understand. In budget estimates 2021-22, I rightly said initial estimate of 230 million. The government agreed, therefore, to the revamping of that project. Now, this initial capital cost estimate of 230 million rupees were thus earmarked in the budget estimate of 21-22. In the budget 22-23, the capital cost estimates were increased to 267 million rupees, as it was proposed that 4 additional components be integrated to the system, which I mentioned in my reply, but just to mention again, namely the card reading, the storage of digital certificates, the digital and mobile ID, with a view to widening the range of services that would be offered by the MNIC. However, the initial offer that we received from the successful company, that is the consortium Thales Arel Malak Technologies Limited, amounted to 388.5 million rupees, following the procurement exercise which I have mentioned also in my reply. As the procurement exercise was initiated, therefore it was agreed to increasing the capital cost to 388.5 million rupees. And Cabinet has approved on 9th of November 2022 for the increase of the project value, and that the contract be awarded to the consortium Thales Arel Malak Technologies at a final negotiated price of $8,178,165.52 US, that is approximately 374 million rupees.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. With regard to the present national identity card, can the Honourable Prime Minister provide information of the amount spent thereon from its implementation to date?
Well, it's good to make members recollect. In his reply to the private notice question of the then leader of the opposition, that is Honourable Paul Béranger, at the sitting of the 30th October 2012, the then Minister of Information and Communication Technology informed the House that in 2009, State Informatics Limited launched a request for proposal exercise for the Mauritius National Identity Card project to 7 shortlisted suppliers, in line with Section 3(1) of the Public Procurement Act. They started with Section 3(1) of the Public Procurement Act, which provided that procurement is to be undertaken by the most competitive method of procurement available in all circumstances. 3 out of the 7 shortlisted bidders submitted proposals. The bid evaluation committee set up for evaluating the proposals recommended that the award be made to SAGEM for a value of 7,281,337.35 euros. That is equivalent to about 317 million rupees, taking the exchange rate at that time being 43.53 rupees. However, the then government decided to stop that exercise. Thereafter, it was decided to consider the possibility of implementing the MNIC project on a government-to-government basis with Singapore, which the then Prime Minister visited in September 2010. I don't know, his visit, he suddenly saw the card there and he said, yes, we have to implement it here. Yeah.
Tranquille donc. You're not Prime Minister, you're not former Prime Minister.
Tranquille.
Quiet.
Écoutez.
You are not yet a former Prime Minister. You were simple minister, not former Prime Minister. No former Prime Minister. You are the Prime Minister is replying to a question. You have no right. This is lack of manners.
In December 2010, right after that famous visit, he went to Singapore again for the benefit of Honorable Bulel. Let me say again, maybe he can't recall. The Prime Minister, when he visited Singapore, he saw the identity card there and said, yes, this is what we must implement. And he came back. He gave instructions to the minister. We cancel everything. We cancel the procurement process. Can you imagine, Mr. Speaker, sir? And then government entered in December 2010 into an agreement with Singapore Corporation Enterprise in partnership with Crimson Logic Private Limited for the provision of an advisory services for the sum of 10,916,204 rupees. Subsequently, an agreement was signed between the Government of Mauritius and Singapore Corporation Enterprise on 17th of October 2012 for the implementation of the project by a consortium comprising Singapore Corporation Enterprise, Nippon Electric Company, at a cost of 1,111,256 rupees and 305. The then government made that deal secret. And again, it's good for me to make the members of the opposition to remind them the then deal that was signed a non-disclosure agreement with the parties concerned. They are talking about non-disclosure agreement. With maintenance cost for the period October 2013 to September 2018, and costs for providing the cards, the total sum paid was 1,536,845 rupees and 112. So from September 2018 onwards, a contract was signed directly with Nippon Electric Company for third level maintenance of the MNIC system, and cards were purchased directly from the supplier Idemia at a total cost of 74 million rupees.
So I think the question has been sufficiently canvassed. 15 minutes over. So I'll suspend the meeting, the sitting for 1.5 hours. But before suspending, let me announce that PQB 990, 991, 992, 993, 994, 995, 996, 997, 999, 1003, all these questions have been withdrawn.